Hello and welcome.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 41.
It's
Whoa.
actually 51.
Whoa.
No, 40
Dude, don't do that. I've just
No.
lost to it 2.5 months. No, wait, that would be, 2.5 months just gone. Just like, what the fuck?
Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, welcome to
Yeah.
Sometimes Something
Welcome.
podcast. It's just the
Yeah,
three of us
welcome
today.
Podcast. Yeah, we're gonna
Very
bitch
special
about.
episode today.
Oh yeah,
Talking
because
over each
Colton's not here.
Yeah. 1 p.m. his time. Lord knows
Yeah.
what he's doing.
Probably, never mind.
Sleeping.
Napping.
Oh boy.
Yeah, what have you guys been up to this past week?
It's been kind of a slow couple weeks, I feel like. I haven't been doing too much. Been playing Final Fantasy. That's about all the extra I've been doing outside of work or just relaxing, walking the dog, kind of chill.
How are you feeling about that game so far? I know you had some comments earlier.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think the reasons that I'm not enjoying it are like reasons that like I'm putting on myself to like complete every single thing as soon as it becomes available.
You're still trying
I
to
don't know if I'm
platinum
going to go
it?
for the platinum. I don't know what all the trophies are because I haven't like looked yet, but at least I'm completing like all like the side objectives or like all like the exploration of the world kind of stuff, and it just kind of gets repetitive where I just kind of want to go through the story.
Yeah, we'll just do that then. Give it some.
Yeah, because I know it's going to end up being at the end. I'm going to beat the game and I'm going to have to do it again, but on something else, or there's the little collectibles that I didn't get that I'd have to go back to. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to do that. So I should just finish it. But I'm like 40 hours in. So
40 hours. Oh, that's a fair bit.
Yeah, I don't know how long it is, but we'll find out. I'll definitely play through to the end. So.
Sorry, what game?
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Oh.
Yes.
Yep.
I've never really had an interest in a lot of the Final Fantasy games. I don't know. I find like story-based stuff I get so fucking bored on without like people to play with. If it's like everyone's playing together, I'll be like, oh, okay. Like even I'm trying to think of like even games that I kind of enjoyed. At a certain point, I just look at like the list of quests and I'm like, I can't be fucked. I don't care. Like,
what was the last single player game you played to like?
Yeah, it's like
that I liked.
What's the last one that you beat? Also, I'm curious about that too.
That's a crazy question. Single player, specifically single player or story? Single player game. Technically, I didn't finish Baldur's Gate. Technically, I didn't finish that because like the ending was really busted. Oh Jesus Christ! It's like a long time ago.
Hades? Did you beat
when
Hades?
The fuck?
I guess that kind of counts.
I mean, Hades. No, I got I beat the boss a few times, so that's not beating Hades.
Right. Titanfall 2? Did you beat Titanfall 2?
Oh yeah, did you play that?
That was a long time.
Yeah, that was like 10 years ago. I think I've beaten stuff more recently. I'm like scrolling through Steam and there's like nothing. A lot of single player. There's a lot of games like Elden Ring. I got like 90 or 85% of the way through, and then I was like, nah, okay. Like a lot of the time, these games just don't.
All the side quests like Kate is doing. Is that kind of what you do? You just have to
in Elden Ring, or
in Elden Ring is an example, like all the extra details.
Yeah, I was kind of doing everything. So like by the time I got to the end, it had been like 10 hours of the same thing and just one-shotting bosses and being incredibly bored. If there's nothing for me to like chase, I won't go back to a game. So if there's nothing like I care about, I won't go back. Like Baldur's Gate 3 is a good example. Like as soon as there was no more gear that mattered, I really stopped caring just because the story is
like it's fine. I thought you like the story.
Yeah.
No, I liked like the interactivity and stuff, but once you get to the end, the story's kind of pretty much very kind of straightforward.
Did you just look up like a gear guide before you played? Like how did you know that?
No, I was playing too early before there was like gear guides. Like I got to endgame within like 4 or 5 days, which no one knew where any of the gear was. You know, I talked to a few friends and they were like, "Oh, did you get this piece?" And they'd be like, "Oh yeah, you should go check out gear and stuff." But I didn't. There wasn't really any guides when I got into endgame. But it was like, what am I chasing? Like the story in Baldur's Gate 3 is pretty mediocre. It's like an amazing game, and how they tell the story is really good, and how it all feels like just a whole bunch of side quests, and there's not like the one golden quest that you're supposed to follow with like random offshoots that don't mean anything. It feels like this big natural spider web that comes together.
Right.
But like when it comes to at the end, it's literally defeat the big bad guy, and it's very one dimensional, and that's like the whole thing. It's like okay. And then there's also like, I mean, not to totally spoil Baldur's Gate, but there is like a section where it's like, this is the last fight,
Right.
and like this is the
Yeah.
last dungeon, and it's like a hard commit, and you're like, oh,
A lot of games
okay.
do
So I
that.
essentially got like
Yeah.
a bit into that, and I was like, I don't care. And the ending was also like, I knew it was really bad, so yeah, Baldur's Gate 3's ending is that's great. Right now, I think they're making it better. They've redone a whole bunch of it, but the last single player game, fuck guys, I don't know.
Been a long
Like
time.
Titanfall 2 is probably like a good
Jeez.
example. There was the COD with Kevin Spacey. Like that
Yeah.
comes to mind, you know? I mean there's stuff like Stellaris I beat. Like that's single player,
Yeah.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
I very rarely play single player games. Like even stuff like Subnautica. Once I got all the cool tech, I didn't do the story. I just watched a recap to see what the ending of the game was. Because I like
Really? Even Subnautica? That's like
I didn't care. I mean, once I got all the cool tech and I got the submarine and I fucked around with it a bunch, then I was like, okay, there's no. I don't care about a story. I care about like mechanics and like cool things to go get.
Okay, what if there was like a really like weird like anime game? You gonna play that too?
I'd probably watch somebody play it.
Mm.
I don't think I would play it.
What would it take?
He's named Final Fantasy, so
Like
Yeah. You just described Final Fantasy 14.
I was yeah. What would it take for you to like play through? Like what do you do you even like?
I mean, there are games that have
Yeah.
really, really good stories that I have played through. I'm trying to fucking think of any. What's a story that I gave a shit about? I kind of gave a shit about. Well, like if Baldur's Gate 3's writing hadn't shit the bed in the last 10%, I would have finished that one because I loved it all the way up into then. Even when we were like hunting down like the big three and stuff, I love those bits.
Mhm.
I found it a bit rushed, and then it was like, oh, okay, now it's just go fight Big Bad, which was I thought was kind of boring. I mean, like Portal 2, I finished. I like Portal 2.
Portal 2.
yeah.
But that game kind of from beginning to the end was, I mean, you got everything. Like you got all the loot, so to speak. That's a stupid way to say it, but you got everything like right away in Portal 2, right?
Right.
And you were just like kind of just trying to get out of there. I like for a story to get me, it can't feel like a series of quests. Ever. Otherwise, I genuinely don't care. Unless there is like in Final Fantasy, for example, like 14 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get to the end game, which is past the quest, but I can still enjoy the story. Like I still like the story of 14, but it's like I'm trying to get past those to unlock the final zone, which is then all the end game stuff. Like 14, and a lot of them are on MMOs. Actually, it's moving away from this model, but 14 is the old school model where it's like you got to finish everything, and then it's like okay, now it's the end game. But the end game is what I give a shit about. I don't actually care at all about this. But if you're gonna play through it, it was like I still enjoyed it. You know. Maybe 14 if the final expansion had just been the final expansion of the story. I would have probably played through the story of that just because I'm so committed to like the 2,000 hours I've already played it.
Jesus.
Like I want to see what happens.
That's how many
yeah,
hours.
it was like 2,700 to 2,800 hours.
That's insane.
And I'll probably put another 5 to 1,000 hours into it next expansion. Probably another only 500.
5 to 1,000 hours.
I don't even know if
it's,
I've
like, easy.
500 to 1,000 hours
in a game.
I knew what you meant, but like
I don't even know if I've done 200 in a game.
Well, you guys don't play MMOs. Like you guys don't play any of the. I don't think you play any of these games that naturally lend themselves to. I'm going to play 3 to 6 hours every single day for a year.
No.
3 to 6 hours every day for a year.
I haven't played that much.
Final Fantasy 14 was
That's
on
like-
average, like I think it was on average 6 hours every day for 2 years or something like that. Yeah.
It's like another full-time job.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, this is something that you guys don't get, but a lot of MMOs are sitting in a Discord call talking to people while you're sitting in the main hub of the MMO. I wouldn't be surprised if there's 1,600 hours of that, right? Like you're just sitting in a hub waiting for something to start and you're just hanging out with people. That's a lot of MMOs.
So you're not even playing the game. most of the time.
No, because you're waiting for like a raid to start, you're waiting for a group, or you're just hanging out with your friends and just
Right. I guess I could see that
Um,
racking up some hours then if you're just
Easily, like when we just kind of play something stupid just to chat. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's essentially, especially if you know them because of the game. Yeah, like if you're trying to raid. Yeah, so that's pretty normal.
Fair.
I mean, games like that. Yeah, until you've played a game that it's like you genuinely want to play at least 2 hours every day for like years. Um, that would be like the minimum. It's hard to explain to people,
Yeah.
but I feel like I don't know, single player games.
Not for you.
It just always turns into the same fucking big bad at the end. And like one of 10 lessons. It's like, I want to kill myself. Like, why do I care? Also, I find like once the game's over, all those lessons and everything that happened to those characters, the closer you get to the end, the less anything has an impact. Because the closer you get to the end of the game is the sooner you turn it off. So like characters you meet towards the end, you don't give a fuck about. You don't care about the big bad because as soon as you win, the game's over. And it's like, oh, okay, well, fucking. Like, I feel like it invalidates.
I think that's the point though, because usually once you're done with the game is when you go. At least
But
when
say
I
I
play
beat the big bad, the whole thing is like we save the world. There's nothing that is the world is saved. That's immediately over. Like if the big bad wins and deletes the world, by the way, it's the same result. The game's over. So it doesn't end up mattering.
I guess what you want is you don't want the game to end, so you leave the game partially
Right,
finished.
you want
so you
an
feel
end.
like
Why
the
would I
world is
like
still
invest more
existing.
time when the game is going to disappear? Like why would
No,
I
no.
invest more time in something that's just going
'Cause
to end if it's like, well,
It's like the ending of a movie, right? You
Yeah.
finish it. I feel like for me, I like when I play like Zelda, for example, the ending. Yeah, I know the ending. The ending is when I'm tired of this game. Time to end it. That's what I So I'm ready to move on to a different game. So I go end it. It's that, and I don't know how long the ending of Baldur's Gate is, so it might be where you're coming from. I don't know if it's like a super like
it's like a good
40.
20-hour slog.
Even then, that's like I feel like that's still just the close.
But that's like 3 days of being bored out of your fucking mind. I don't know.
I'm sure
If you already know what the ending is, this goes for movies as well. If you know what the ending is, there's no closure. You got that the moment you realize what the ending is. That's kind of the shitty closure, and you're like,
I mean, I knew I was going to beat Ganondorf. Like, I mean, everyone knows you're going to beat.
No, but that's why I don't play that game because I don't. It's like at a certain point, it's like okay, I've played with all the mechanics. There's nothing. It's always like fun, like messing with new systems and learning things and getting good at things. But I'm not going to go play something that I know like what's going to happen. That's kind of boring unless the experience itself is like really really strong. Like in a movie that's bad, and then like 20 minutes in or an hour in, you know exactly what the ending is. It's like I don't really care. I find a lot of movies that I watch, it's like good all the way through, and the ending's interesting. But I find a lot of video games execute on endings really poorly, just because it becomes so inevitable exactly what's going to happen, pretty much.
Yeah. I feel like too.
And I feel like the bigger the game, and also like the longer the game, if you play like a 200-hour campaign of something, and the ending's 10 hours, it feels like it's rushed in the context of everything else.
Yeah.
But if you do drag the ending out long enough to make it feel like part of the thing, then it becomes like, okay, well, we know what's going to happen. Like it's very.
Yeah. I guess Zelda isn't known for story, anyways. My point is like.
Yeah, no.
I think games have gotten better at what you're saying too, Calvin. Where I mean, especially since the last ones you mentioned you've played through were Call of Duty and Titanfall. Not that Titanfall wasn't a good story or anything, but like, not Call of Duty Advanced Warfare probably isn't known for it's better.
Well, it's also those are really short campaigns. They're 9 hours or 6 hours, right? So it's like you get through them in like 2 days, and you can still kind of be and everything's tight and fast, so the pacing's really well done. When you have a campaign that's 400 or 500 hours, it's so much harder to tell the story.
Yeah, for sure.
500. Yeah.
I don't think most single player story games are. Well,
I was just like saying a big number. My point is, I think the longer it gets, the harder it is to keep that story like up and interesting. Like the closest game that I think has a good single player story is Final Fantasy 14, because 14 you can play through the whole story without interacting with a single other player at all. I think. Yeah, I think you can do that now. So you never have to like do a dungeon or do anything with anybody else at all. In theory, I mean, you'd be kind of insane, but you could do it.
Right.
And that is a good 500-600 hour slog. But there is pretty good pacing because it knows from the get-go that it is this really long story. So there are some games that I do it, I guess, but at the same time, I would have gotten bored and never finished 14. I would have never gotten far enough into that story, like the 300-400 hours in, to be invested to finish. and I would have never finished it if there wasn't like the end game that I wanted at the very end. So yeah. I mean, there's a lot of MMOs that let you get to end game and just drop the story, and I instantly drop the story the second I can. And if I can skip or get around, what games I like Guild Wars 2, you can just have a buddy, like just you can just either teleport to them or have them like bring you somewhere, and then that area is just unlocked for you, and you didn't have to do the story.
Right.
So that's like a thing, right? And I always do that because I'm like, I'm not wasting my time.
So it sounds like I think what we can take away from this is they're just not for you, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, I think medium length campaigns, I just don't.
Yeah, everyone's got their tastes. But
Yeah.
you know what, Calvin, would you play a game about the royal family?
Is there a game you have in mind, Kari?
Did that cut out?
No, I heard you, Calvin.
Yeah. Would
No,
you play a
because
game?
like I mean, the crown. One, watching something is way less commitment than playing something. For one, that's just like an absolute. Like watching something is way less commitment than playing something. And I think also the crown was pretty good moment to
Would you
moment.
play a game about like a Segway machine?
What is he referencing?
What are you segueing to, Kari?
Oh,
I'm
God.
segueing to the royal
Our
family.
sponsor.
I'm trying to bring it.
Our sponsor.
Did you want to talk about this last week? You wanted to talk about this last week. The royal family.
Oh, but it's like all like last week's news. What was the thing that I watched? We missed a bunch of stuff last week, and it made me mad. Well, it's kind of like
it was the Photoshop thing.
There was the Photoshop. There was the Kate Middleton like fucking weird Photoshop scandal last week.
Hasn't that just gotten
but all that's kind of over now because people like paparazzi photographer like took photos of her like out shopping with her husband. So it's like, oh, she's alive. She's not like dead.
Isn't there a bunch of conspiracy theories that wasn't actually her too now too?
Yeah, but now it's like most people can look at those photos and be like, okay, that's obviously her. You know, so of course there's always going to be conspiracies.
Yeah,
you know, like the John Lennon stuff. But it was just like for a minute, it was fun to believe that the royal family murdered Kate Middleton and was trying to do a cover up. Like that's interesting. Like if it had showed up photos of her and it was obviously just somebody in a bad Kate mask, that would have been amazing. That would have been great. You know, like super. Like what's happening? But it was definitely her. So disappointing. Disappointing.
I still think what people think the weird thing about all that is too is like she didn't just go on camera somewhere and be like, "Hey, I'm alive," you know.
Yeah, but
I feel like
she doesn't need to, right?
They didn't expect that people were going to be so conspiracy theory like coded on that, so to speak, and then they kind of just released something that was like half-assed, not really thinking about how much people were going to read into it. That was like this shitty edit for whatever reason. And then it really blew up. You know, it was just kind of like a small, minor conspiracy, dumb people on Reddit thing. And then they were just like, here's a really weird photo because we don't have anyone on our staff that's competent. And then
that's what I wanted to talk about was like for something so important, how like the mistakes were pretty bad. Did you see them, Kate? Like, did you see the actual like the photograph?
Family photo? Yeah.
My understanding of the royal family is it's massively just based on nepotism, like anyone getting a job, and they don't trust anyone they don't know personally. So that's like somebody's son or like somebody that
I could see that
got in with through nepotism, but like they can't, they don't trust anyone that's not kind of like in those circles through just like blood or generations of money. So yeah, it was like or they just need to fire their ad agency. I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe it was her. Maybe she did do it.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe she needs some Photoshop classes.
The only reason I'm like hesitant on that is it's very famous that a lot of them are completely tech illiterate. Like completely tech illiterate. I'm sure
wouldn't Kate be even if that's true, wouldn't that Kate be an exception because of the is she like a normal person?
She's a boomer. I mean
not that much.
I guess she's an old millennial. She's an older millennial. I think she's 40 something.
Yeah, she know how to use a computer.
Yeah, but like they're famous for like she's 42. Okay, she's 42. That's pretty young. Maybe.
Yeah, she's definitely watched some Andrew Kramer videos back in the
There
day.
you go.
Right?
She's on Video Copilot grinding.
Can you actually
Yeah.
imagine that twist? Is like that's like her one little secret.
That's her like one thing. She's actually dope at Nuke.
Yeah. She's learning Nuke at home.
She's
Just,
sick as fuck. Just like she's like, yeah, I built this like blank script thing that does like physically accurate lens flares.
Could you like actually like
what?
if she released a tool on Nukepedia? Do you think it'd be
If
like
it was
the most
good, I'd
popular
use
tool?
it. I don't think I would give a shit.
She just makes another Expo Glow that just works like all the other ones.
Oh, but
it's
it's like
the Kate Middleton
but it's
Expo
good,
Glow.
but it's the Kate Middleton one. I'd use it then. I think that'd be funny. Be like, hey, who did this Expo Glow? Oh,
How
Kate
fast
Middleton.
that would be a thing that like clients would request. You're like, hey, can we make sure we're using the KM glow on this, please?
So
the
KM
KM
glow.
Glow. Oh, so it
KM
sounds
glow.
KM Glow.
KM tracker remove. KM edge rebuild. KM edge extend.
Oh no.
Oh, that's funny. We should just do that. Pretend we're Kate Middleton and just post a whole library of nodes on a fucking Nukepedia.
The amount of people I've seen already doing stuff like that though, where it's like people doing ads for the tutorials, saying, "Hey, Kate, you need some Photoshop lessons."
Oh, really?
Look at
I
it.
saw
You know what I
that.
mean? There's so many people like kind of hopping on that.
Jeez.
It's so quirky.
Yeah, it was definitely a weird choice.
Yeah.
Even if you're like, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, if you watch The Crown, you'll get it, but they're so sheltered, like so extremely sheltered. Like the idea, yeah. I mean, maybe stuff's changed in the last like 40 years a lot, but they're famous for being like hugely outdated and hyper protected. I mean, there's this attitude that, I mean, it comes from The Crown, but it also does come from the royals themselves, where it's like, how do you say this? There used to be a lot of the power of royalty back in the day came from like how mysterious it was and how commoners could never really get into it at all, and it was just this kind of like, I mean, back in the day they were like essentially appointed by God, you know, so they were kind of like these hugely, but nowadays we have such like a peek into kind of their lives, and it's like, oh, they're just rich celebrities that were related to Nazis, and that's kind of it, you know. It's not really interesting, but they still try and do a lot of like weird secrecy and sheltering them for the rest of the world. So it's a weird cult.
Yeah. We've heard Calvin's
Just to our answer, Netflix, The Crown.
Netflix, The Crown, yeah. Yeah.
You watch a couple
sponsor?
seasons of Netflix of The Crown, and there's like a bunch of times where the queen like makes friends with somebody and puts them in power, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, here's a bunch of photos of them with Hitler," and it's like, "Oh no, I'm an old white woman who thought all her like German friends were cool." It's like, God damn it, woman. Yeah.
Sounds like Canada. So let's.
True.
I'm joking. I'm half joking.
Boy, oh boy.
This is not the political podcast. So Cade is going to bring up his amazing topic about
Yes.
Reddit.
Reddit. Why am I the Reddit guy?
Today you are.
I don't even think Cade uses Reddit. I feel like Cade only uses Reddit begrudgingly when we link him something.
I used to go on Reddit, and then once I couldn't get it on the third-party iPhone app, I was like, I guess I'm done.
Classic.
Well, to be fair, I took that opportunity to get off Reddit.
Yeah. Once you get away from these apps, you don't really miss them. Once you get used to like just never using them. I've never used Twitter. I don't know why I never got on Twitter.
Oh wait, someone so
No.
This could be content. I don't know. I haven't read it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But someone just posted a conspiracy theory on a reason why he thinks Godzilla -1 won the Oscar.
Oh God!
Do you want me to read this? I haven't looked at this yet.
Is this what we're doing for content now? Reacting?
Right now, yeah.
I don't know. I have it right now. So this guy says, not belittling their accomplishments, but the reason Hollywood has raised them on a pedestal could just them be playing 5D chess. Hollywood can now justify bargaining lower prices from vendor studios, saying if Japanese VFX studios can produce Oscar-winning work for a small budget, why can't you?
That's not how anything works.
And then he goes on to say, less money for the VFX studios and more money for cocaine, hookers, and yachts. So this guy, real
I know
Seems like a
how to say
calculated race to the bottom.
not true.
I don't. Yeah, that's a bit. It's a bit out
It's
there.
weird that he thinks studios are going to like, or like the client are going to studios and being like, this person does it cheaper. That means you can do it, right? It's like that's not how the market works. That's the whole point of the market is being like, go to them then, and then it's like go to Japan, work with the Japanese VFX companies. Oh, there's nowhere near enough people, and now they've raised their rates after they won an Oscar. No shit, you know. And also, when they did that, they have tons of creative control. The client was like heavily integrated with them, and they shot it properly. Yeah, Marvel's not going to all of a sudden be able to do that.
Yeah.
You know, like shit, that doesn't work.
Yeah, it's a bit of a.
People are so stupid. People think it's like people think that implies he thinks Godzilla and fucking a Marvel film was the same. Just the difference was the budget. That's what that implies. He doesn't think there's any other changes. He just thinks it's the exact same thing, just the budget's different. What a...
Also, that the visual effects like weren't good in the first place. Like,
yeah,
I think it deserved it. Anyways, that's been our React segment.
I hate that segment. We never do that again.
Oh, we're doing it again. Next time it's gonna be on Kura.
No. Oh wait, no, I'll do Kura. Yeah, let's do that. I'm down. Why do elephants poop? And then it's like just a 16-paragraph explanation on why that's racist against monkeys.
No, it will be why do elephants poop, and then someone's like, I have an app actually for this information.
To explain
Why don't you sign
this,
up
and
here?
then it's somebody doing a pitch. Yeah, it's just a weird ad read in the fucking middle of it. I feel like Quora has replaced Yahoo Answers, right?
Yeah, that's essentially what it's. Yeah.
Why,
Does Yahoo Answers still even exist?
Didn't Yahoo go bankrupt?
I think it's,
Yahoo's
I have
still
no
around.
idea. Yahoo's,
But maybe it could be
guess
bankrupt.
it
I
is.
don't know. I don't know the news.
oh my god! Yahoo Answers shut down forever, May 4th, 2021.
2 years.
That's
So
recent.
that's what happened.
R.I.P.
Kura is the new.
That's so
The new
weird
Quora
because
Live.
Quora is just the same fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like,
I think Yahoo wasn't known for Yahoo Answers though, so they probably were like, "Hey."
yes, it was.
Sorry, I should say, Yahoo's currently not known for Yahoo Answers. They probably were like, "Hey, Kura took up our market. Let's chop that section. We're
What does
bleeding
Yahoo
money."
do now?
But Yahoo isn't known for
They're
anything.
they're like a content aggregate, whatever. Like with search. It's like a Google alternative, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but Yahoo Answers is 50 times more famous than anything they've ever done, so it's crazy.
I'm
to
just saying
let
that's
die.
what it is. Yeah, I get you.
Well,
I know
it's
a lot of
crazy
people-
to let it die, and they're just like, "Well, Quora beat us out." It's like Quora's the exact same service.
I'm
There's
not
nothing different.
verifying that. I'm just making a guess. It could be a totally different reason. The Yahoo Answers guy probably got tired and quit. So
I was at one
One
guy.
guy writing it, and the Quora's like, "Oh, I guess we'll shut it
Yeah.
down."
It's like I can't keep up with all these questions.
I
It's
can't
so
answer
many-
all these, man. Yeah,
I can't. If I have to answer why am I per count one more time, I'm gonna kill myself.
No. But yeah, I think it's just like, I know people use Yahoo Finance for stuff, even recently, because they have like a lot of data that people will pull from. But yeah, I guess they're kind of not doing so well, are they?
Sorry, I just Googled. I've been trying to find something to talk about. I just Googled fun news, and the first thing in the news tab that popped up in fun news is Oprah Winfrey starved herself for months over body shaming.
Oh no.
Oh no, Oprah.
Fun news.
Oh no, Oprah on a diet. Poor Oprah. What the fuck has Oprah done? I was thinking about this the other day.
What are you
I was
talking
trying to
about?
figure out. No, hold on.
Like
It's because I don't know what Oprah's done. I was like,
Okay.
all I know her for is fighting midgets, bees, giving away cars, and then she was in a movie. What
She
am
was
I
in
missing?
Multiple movies. She also
Okay,
she's just like another. I don't want to say like Ellen. She's a big talk show person.
Yeah, there's our
That's
network.
like where her. Yeah, everyone
Oh, I
wants to.
thought Oprah was like way more important. I thought she was like, oh, she also did 3 of the biggest television shows in the 80s or something.
No,
like
she's
that.
big. It's the same way like you know. I guess Ellen is probably the best one I could think of as in the same category of like everyone.
But
wants
I
to
don't
go
think
on Oprah.
Ellen has the same amount of like even before all like the drama with Ellen, her stopping her show. Actually, I don't know if she stopped her show.
Or
You know all
drama
the
with that.
drama with Ellen.
Yeah, I know
But,
about
like,
that.
even before that, I don't think Oprah and Ellen were on like the same fucking tier, were they?
She was like bigger. She was
I think
she was
Oprah
the
figured
OG.
it out.
Yeah. Like back in when we were younger, we weren't watching on the internet as much. Like Ellen was like the new kind of
Hey, my mom used
alternative.
to watch like the Oprah, whatever her like main show was called for.
The Oprah
The
Winfrey.
Oprah Winfrey show.
Yeah. And she has an estate that's like 30 houses or something crazy.
Yeah, it is.
What?
On one
I guess
land.
talk shows paid crazy money.
Yeah, and she had her.
I feel like also talk shows that catered to women in their 30s
11.
also
Well, it
have a lot
wasn't-
more longevity into like the internet age because women in their 30s don't know how to use it.
There's that too, but also like almost every big, you know, important celebrity, president, etc., all went on the show as well. It was like, you know what I mean? You would have everyone going on the show to promote something, or you know what I mean?
I never
You get
really
on the-
thought of when I think of like, oh, I guess it wasn't a late night talk show. I think of talk shows as there's late night talk shows and then TV crap. I always thought of
Yeah, I
talk
guess-
shows like talk shows that are not late night but hosted by a comedian. I mean, I guess now they are total garbage, but I always thought, yeah,
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
It was
Like
less
a
of like
talk show isn't a thing anymore.
Yeah, where like it was like I would say even more like important people. Like it wasn't just every week like an actor coming on to plug their show. Like it was like Kari said, like political people or like doctors or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yep. That's Oprah.
Yeah, who really we love celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
I hate you.
What do you think about taxing billionaires, Calvin? How do you feel about that?
What is this? Oh
All
my
right. Well, I
God.
think that's our show, folks. I think we'll have to head it out there before Calvin says that billionaires should.
No, that's
Okay.
shit. That's such like a Reddit bait comment. That's all.
Personally, I'm not a fan because,
Alright.
like, what if I'm a
Pers-
billionaire?